Nothing calls for an emergency edition of PFTPM like the news. Long expected that Aaron Rodgers will be joining the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's reportedly a one-year deal. There could be some extra avoidable years so they can move around, signing bonus money. More on that in a second. For now, this is the fulfillment of what many had anticipated for a very long time. The Steelers made it clear early in the process they wanted Aaron Rodgers. Look at what they did, or more accurately, didn't do in free agency and in the draft. And it was all setting up to the Steelers keeping a light on for Rodgers to come and play quarterback for them and give them the best option they've had at the position since Ben Roethlisberger retired. It otherwise would have been Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson, Will Howard on the depth chart. I have a feeling Skylar Thompson may not be around for very long, although teams like to have four quarterbacks head into training camp. We'll see how that plays out. The key is Rodgers will be the unquestioned starter. Rodgers will have the opportunity to do what the Steelers haven't done since the 2016 season, and that's win a playoff game. There's a perfect win-win here. Rodgers needs something that will make his time with the Jets seem like an aberration. It's hard to put 2023 on him since he suffered a torn Achilles tendon on the fourth play from scrimmage in the Week 1 game against the Bills. But 2024, that was a disaster. 5-12. That was his worst full season record as a starter. Now, he didn't play horribly, but the team was bad. And some of that has got to stick to a guy who's been to one Super Bowl in his career. So now he goes to a better team and he gets an opportunity to, and I don't want to say get to the Super Bowl because I don't think anybody expects Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers to overcome the Bills and Josh Allen, the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, even the Texans and CJ Stroud. I think it's going to be a tall order for the Steelers to even get to the playoffs. Hell, I didn't mention the Bengals and Joe Burrow. Steelers are going to have a hard time finishing higher than third in their own division. But this does give them a chance to cobble together enough wins to get to the playoffs and then win a playoff game when they get there. That's the key. And I said this earlier in the week, anything but Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers winning a playoff game makes the whole thing a waste for the Steelers because they could get to the playoffs and not win a playoff game without Aaron Rodgers. They are selling a little bit of their soul here. Steelers fans, based upon the admittedly unscientific poll questions that we posted on Twitter, two of them, one before he went on Pat McAfee's show and one after. And the numbers went from 55% no, we don't want him to 70% no, we don't want him. And obviously it was impossible to keep fans of other teams from stuffing the ballot box, but still pretty strong no. And that was the anecdotal evidence I was getting from Steelers fans who would reach out to PFT via email, social media. There's a sense they didn't want him. Not all, but an alarming number. You would think you'd roll out the black and gold carpet for a guy who comes in and instantly gives you a high degree of credibility at the most important position on the field. There is hesitation. I think Steelers fans believe it isn't like them to do this. Trade for DK Metcalf and give him all that money. Wait and wait and wait some more for Rodgers to decide he wants to be a Steeler. That's why when Cam Hayward said, either you want to be a Steeler or you don't, it resonated with Steeler fans. That's why I believe that last week when Terry Bradshaw said he'd stay in California and chew on bark and whisper to the gods, Steelers fans that don't want him love that. I thought it was comical to see both ESPN and Adam Schefter tweet an image of Rodgers wearing number 12. Hello, 12? Terry Bradshaw's retired number? Do you really think, number one, Bradshaw is going to offer, and do you really think Rodgers is going to accept? He wouldn't accept 12 last time around from the Jets when Joe Namath said he could wear it. Why would he want to wear Terry Bradshaw's number? I guess out of spite, but why would Bradshaw even offer it? He'll wear number 8, I believe. That was his college number. It was his number with the Jets, and number 8 is going to be quickly available. Corliss Waitman, the punter, currently has number 8, which means he won't have it for very long. Now, another number that's going to be critical, I mentioned this earlier, signing bonus and salary and other compensation for 2025. Because when Rodgers was on with Pat McAfee, he blurted out, it's not about money. I'll play for, what do you call it, 10 M's? Way too cool for me. I'll play for $10 million. Okay, Aaron. Let's see whether it's 10 million. Let's see whether it's truly 10 million. Let's see. And hey, the guy gave up 35 million when he went to the Jets a couple of years ago, when he restructured his contract. Now, I think he did it because he knew that the gesture would give him extra influence with the team. But still, only 10 million? That'd be something. If he only takes $10 million to play football for 1 year, that frees up cap space and cash for other players, helps them get TJ Watt signed. But I'd still be leery because I think a gesture like that is loaded, and it comes with an expectation that Rodgers is going to be able to do whatever he wants. And he's got that power. They've already put themselves in that position where they're surrendering the franchise to Aaron Rodgers. And look, this is a team that just a few days ago had to send an email to angry fans and season ticket holders because Mason Rudolph and Miles Killebrew made an appearance at a Donald Trump rally in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania last Friday night. All I'll say is go watch the 184-minute conspiracy theory fest between Rodgers and Joe Rogan and ask yourself, how are the Steelers fans that weren't happy with Rudolph and Killebrew going to feel about Rodgers if they go watch that podcast? But the Steelers were on notice. They were aware. They don't care. Look, they want to win, and they see an opportunity. And yes, they're selling their soul a little bit. They're doing something out of character a lot. They are doing something different than what we're used to seeing from the Steelers, and I think that's why so many of their fans are concerned. This isn't how the Steelers do business. It speaks to a level of desperation that we haven't seen from the Steelers. 9 years is a long time to go without winning a playoff game. And when you look at the Metcalf trade and contract, you look at waiting as long as they did for Rodgers, it makes you wonder what happens if they don't win a playoff game this year. Is Mike Tomlin inching closer to a mutual parting of ways with the Pittsburgh Steelers after nearly 20 years on the job? These are all things that are going to be on the table because the Steelers are going all into the middle of the table to try to at least win a playoff game. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe it'll go extremely well. Maybe it will all fall together perfectly and they can find a way to thread the needle and get to the Super Bowl and maybe win a Super Bowl for the first time since the 2008 season. One last point, put me down for this. I fully expect that sooner than later, and no later than training camp, the Steelers will trade for Jets receiver Allen Lazard. Been waiting for that one to happen. You know, they kicked the tires on Gabe Davis, who was cut by the Jaguars last month, I believe, sometime after the draft. And they've been waiting to know what Rodgers is going to do. And Lazard, I think, is a perfect complement because Lazard, when he's with Rodgers, he plays really well. When he's not with Rodgers, he does not play very well. The question becomes, what do the Jets want? They may do the song and dance for a little bit. But at the end of the day, if the Jets can get any value out of Lazard, a guy they would have cut if he hadn't taken a massive reduction in his pay for this year, anything they get is going to be a win for the Jets. Except in week one, when they have to face Aaron Rodgers and Allen Lazard if the trade is made. And this was a point that was made over the weekend. Now that Rodgers is in the fold, assuming that he's healthy week one and assuming that Justin Fields is healthy week one, it'll be the first time in league history that a week one game will pit two quarterbacks who were the starters of the two teams but flipped the year before in week one. It was Fields for the Steelers and Rodgers for the Jets in 2024. This year, for the first time ever, Jets have Fields, Steelers have Rodgers, and off the Steelers will go. 3 winnable games to start the schedule before they go to Dublin to face the Vikings in week 4. They have a trip in November to Chicago to take on the Bears. Interesting season for the Steelers. Tour of the NFC North, a division that Rodgers knows very well. Packers will come to Pittsburgh at some point during the year. They'll play the Lions as well. Makes for a more exciting season. We knew it was going to happen, but again, until it actually happened, we didn't know for sure. Now he gets a 3-day minicamp to get ready. He'll be there for training camp, and off we go. Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh Steelers, wearing something other than number 12, and presumably getting paid something more than $10 million. We'll Continue to monitor the story, and we'll have much more on Friday's all-new edition of PFT Live. We'll see you then. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.